Welcome back to Cephas Unscripted. Myself, Casual Bias Rugby with Brett Burns. Unfortunately, Brevan can't be here today. He's got a little rugby photography session. So we're just going to have a little rugby chat with you guys today. Going to chat about the rugby awards and then just any form of rugby that we've seen throughout the week. Brett, how are we doing, man?
Very, very good. Very excited about some URC starting in a while.
Yeah.
And I see there's no massive thunderstorm, so we should be good to go.
Yeah, it won't be the longest one in the world necessarily. Unfortunately, now I need to go and because I was not prepared at all. I need to go and find where the um, award winners was actually posted before I forget about it. Let's start with that actually. I know it's a bit older news, but we haven't chatted about it. So let's chat about it. Let's start off with
Have we ever prepared?
no, fair enough. We are never prepared. But anyway, people, if you do like the channel, this is truly an unscripted one. We just came on and said, okay, we're just gonna chat. So if you do like the channel, please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. We do appreciate you guys. Um, let's start with the men's 15s dream team. Did you have any disputes of who should be there or who shouldn't be there? Were you satisfied with it?
What, on the men's 15 team?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we all know how I feel about Will Jordan and James Lowe. But then I thought about it. That's just my personal agenda. And I went through that team. And like for like, I think I couldn't replace them with anyone. So I felt like that team was.
Do you have it 100% the same?
Sorry?
Do you have it 100% the same?
I do. There's one person I feel that came close, Angus Bell from Australia. He was good. But then again, look who's going up against. So yeah, I couldn't. Yes, I have it exactly the same. I'm very happy with that team.
Interesting discussion point because I'll tell you what my differences was and we can have a little chat about it because I think that's actually interesting, right? We all know Malcolm Marx is the best hooker in the world. I'm of the point of view that he's one of the best forwards to play the game in terms of talent as well. But 2024, I don't think he's been the best hooker, right? Because we criticized him a couple of games, especially when it came to line-out time. And I thought Cody Taylor had his best year that he's ever had in the All Black jersey. I thought he was amazing. So I had Cody Taylor in that 2 jersey.
The problem with Cody Taylor is that he played 50% less games than Malcolm Marx.
He wasn't injured for that long, was he?
He was. He had that concussion. He was out for 4 weeks. That's half the rugby championship.
When did he get the concussion? He got a concussion against England in the Autumn Nations. But
and then again against South Africa in the first. No, against Argentina in the last test. And then he didn't play South Africa.
Yes, he did.
And then
he played amazing against us.
Yeah, he got concussed against us. And then he didn't play test 2. And then he didn't play the next test. And then he played again in the autumn series. Only on the second test, not the first test.
That's not how I remember it. Because I still remember making a video of like top 5 players in the world currently. I was like, Cody Taylor, he's playing so well. And that was after the South African games. He did get injured, if I'm not mistaken, in the second South African game. So I do believe you're right on that one. But didn't he play against Australia?
Not that I can recall, because when he in the autumn series now it said, "Welcome back, Cody Taylor."
I'm not even sure. I can't even remember. I just know that Cody Taylor stood out for me so much more than he's ever done before. And I just feel like Malcolm Marx didn't have his best year compared to his other years that he's had before. But anyway, I agree on the locks. I agree on the Lucy's, of course. Coin toss kind of between Pablo Matera, and I've seen a couple of people say Juan Martin Gonzalez as well. Um, but then also like, would it have been far-fetched to have said Wallace Atiti deserves to also be in the Lucy conversation?
Again, didn't play enough tests.
Well, he started right in the rugby championship, so he missed the first three game. No,
Yes.
okay, so he missed four games. Fair enough. But the
Yeah.
impact that he's had, can you be like, well, he's been so good
I
for the other
nobody
eight games.
nobody you're right, but nobody would have been opposed to it. Nobody would have been opposed to it, especially considering he everyone knew he was going to win breakthrough player of the year. That wasn't even debatable.
Yeah,
Um, and so nobody would have been opposed to if Satiti did make that team.
yeah.
But I think it came down to the amount of games he played.
Yeah, probably, and it's tough to give a breakthrough player in the team of the year as well. But he felt like a proper breakthrough player, just out of absolutely nowhere. I remember us talking about how good Hoskins Tutu is going to be because it's going to be easier, right? While the Super Rugby was still on, Satiti
Mm.
comes in, no one talks about him. There's no real hype around him. 21 years old, maybe just a bit of hype. He comes through the door and feels like he's man of the match every single game he plays. He was so
Yeah,
good, unbelievable,
I
unbelievable.
agree.
9-10
I
combo.
do, however, think
Yeah, sorry,
I
go.
do,
Yeah.
however, think if if Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu didn't get injured and he played every single test and he got better because he started good, was good until the end and then got injured. I feel like it would have been a toss up between him and Damon McKenzie, but Damon McKenzie was good and does deserve it as well. Just so we have it out there.
I'm going a bit different on this one because, in my opinion, I thought it was fair that Mackenzie not got dropped, but Bowden Barrett took that 10 jersey in the end. But my
Mm.
10 would have been Albornoz. He's been running the show for Argentina. He's been a standout player
Yeah,
literally every single time. There hasn't been a lot of standout
except
tens, but he was the one.
except for the except for the second test against South Africa. I think he was the downfall for them in that specific test.
Yeah, but people
I
also
think he
spoke about Mackenzie being the downfall against South Africa as well.
true, true. Yeah, but the All Blacks didn't lose by 40 points.
Yeah, fair enough. No, but I'm just comparing it, right? Because there was a couple of people that actually called for Mackenzie to get dropped. You know,
Yeah,
Albanose was that guy that everyone was speaking about. How good is he? He's just come through out of
yeah.
nowhere as well. I mean, Santi Carreras, not a bad player at all.
Mm.
Albanose doesn't look like he's gonna
Yeah,
get dropped for a single second. Santi Carreras is
yeah,
playing off the bench in another position. That's how good
mm.
Albanose was. Uh,
Yeah, agreed.
Uh, De Allende Creel, kind of expected. Shout out to Tommaso Menoncello from Italy. Obviously, he was the player of the Six Nations as well. Um,
Yeah.
but De Allende, he needs to get his love. Give him his flowers.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised because we obviously all know and always want him to be acknowledged more, and he never does. And I felt like he probably was going to get snubbed again.
Yeah,
And it's almost as if people said, "Oh wait, who's this guy? This guy's quite good. Oh shit, he's only been a Bok for the last 10 years."
yeah.
Gee whiz, yeah, it's odd for me. It's
And
it's amazing how a player can go so under the radar.
and the thing is, he should have been okay. 2023, Bundiaki had a very, very, very good season. But other than that, it feels like Damiand De Allende should have been the inside center in the dream team every single year. That's just how good he's been for the Springboks,
For
right?
me, 2023 as well. I'm going back to that island test in the World Cup. Damiand De Allende owned Bundiaki.
Yeah,
And it wasn't even close. The only reason why Bundiaki got man of the match is because Ireland won the game.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
they lost, he wouldn't even been acknowledged.
yeah,
Because Damiand De Allende was so good. Bouncing Sexton, bouncing Ringrose. It was just beautiful.
yeah. But I'm just saying, right? Because Bundi Aki also had an outstanding year, and I think he was player of the Six Nations, right? So it would have been up for debate, but this year, Damian De Allende just once again, he's Mr. Consistent for you. If you ever wanted a Mr.
Yeah.
Consistency, that is your guy. Um, Chisholm Colby, agree. Will Jordan, but he has been scoring a lot of tries, but the issue is he's played wing as well. I would have gone something totally different. I would have given Joe Schmidt his credit with getting one guy back in. How good has he been? Tom Wright at 15. I thought he's been a standout. He struggled against Scotland, obviously, but he's been
Yes.
very good. And left wing, I wouldn't have gone James Lowe, even though he has been decent. Caleb Clark.
Yes. Actually, you're right. This is where I forgot that when I was looking at the team, I think it was yesterday, I thought to myself, how is Caleb Clark not there? But then again, Caleb Clark didn't play enough rugby.
Yeah, well, he wasn't the first choice, but when he came in as first choice, he looked like the best wing in the, well, second best wing in the world. He was so good. He was absolutely he fully deserves to be there. I don't care if he played a couple of games less. The way that he's been playing and the performances that he's put in, he's been brilliant. I just couldn't take him out of it. And I also think you have to give some credit to Louis Biel Barret because had a great season with Bordeaux. France has struggled this year, but he's also played very good for France. Like you can see the maturity that he's had in his just the Autumn Nations series was like, okay, well, Penno's out. I'll just be the senior winger, even though I'm just 21, 22 years old, and I'll just look like world class anyway. He's been so, so good.
Who do you think we're going to look out for back three players wise or backline player for next year?
Um, Biasness, Sasha, want to see him find his feet, obviously in the back line. Um, I'm really, really interested in terms of what France will do because Intermark is obviously great, but that Barry, the fullback from them has been great, and Tomo Ramos has been sensational in that 10 jersey. Like if he played there more in that 10 jersey, he would have been the 10 for me in this Dream 15. But he's obviously just only played a couple of games there, so I'm really excited to see what France do in terms of that. Um, I want to see Sam Prendergast. He has impressed me. Like I know we talk about the red card or whatever, see how his game evolves. But obviously he needs to get into that 10 jersey for Leinster then, but also just the battle of that 10 jersey because that's talent. Crowley, Frawley,
Yeah.
and Prendergast, because all three of them can play. Um,
Yeah.
because it wasn't long ago that we said it feels like Crowley has got more to offer than even Johnny Sexton does. Like I'm a fan of Jack Crowley. He has struggled a bit. Um, Always exciting to see what happens in the wingers for the All Blacks. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of talent all over the place. Do you have something in mind that you popped that up?
Yeah, I was thinking of Peach from Australia. He's been very exciting.
Who?
Um, Peach or
Oh,
Pleach
oh
or
yeah, yeah,
the
Dylan
wing.
Peach, yeah,
Yeah,
from the Waratahs.
yeah, yeah. And then I'd like to see a Carpuzzo have a great season. Um, and what's the Argentine wing? Forget his
Carreras,
name.
Mateo Carreras.
Yes, I'd like to see those three because they excite me. They really, really excite me. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Well,
Yo, I get goosebumps when they run. It's almost like this might make you stress.
I'm very excited to see what happens when the full Wallaby backline is available again. Because you look at Dalgoon, who's not available right now. Peach is injured. They have Jorgensen there. Kellaway, Tom Wright. I want to see what they do with the centers when Hunter Paisami and Karevi's back. Where's Swali'i going to play then? So that they are struggling with a couple of injuries and obviously the suspension of Karevi as well. It'll be interesting to see are they fixed on Noah Lolosio is the guy to go forward in that 10 jersey. Does Ben Donaldson maybe get some more game time? Do we switch to something else? I'm very excited about that Australian backline as a whole, right? It could be very, very sexy. Like you look at the combinations, because Dalguni can even play in the centers as well, but I don't expect him to. Will Len Ikitau be the inside center going forward, or does Paisami just go in and Ikitau goes to outside? Does Suali'i maybe go to the wing then? I don't know. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I have a question though. So I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but a few years ago when Wes Goosen was at the Hurricanes,
Yeah.
There were rumors that he was going to go to the Rebels or something. I think something like that. I can't remember if it was a rumor or if it was real. But going to Australia, do you think he would have made the Wallaby side if he did make that move when the offer was on the table? Or yes, correct me if I'm wrong. If it was, I don't know if it was a rumor or if it was actually legit. But let's say it was legit. Do you think he would have played for Australia? Because I felt at the Canes he was world class, knocking on the door to be an All Black because he's been living there for so long.
Yes.
Um,
I,
but
w- I-
then it obviously never happened. Now he's playing in Europe, so that's international rugby is never going to happen.
probably him and Corabetti would have been the wingers for Australia.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I thought, bro, make the move. You're not going to play for the All Blacks, and if you do, you might play one or two tests.
Yeah.
At
I'm
Australia,
not
you
sure
might
on
play.
his eligibility for when that was happening. I never heard that rumor. I'm just saying, like, if that was all valid,
It
then
was
he would.
when South Africa was still in Super Rugby.
Yes. Jesus, a long time ago.
Exactly. And I always thought that because he's South African, um, and obviously he's been living in New Zealand for so long, he was eligible to play for the All Blacks. But I just felt like he should have made the move to Australia.
No, he could have even been playing in the World Cup, right? Because he was way better
Yeah.
than Vunivalu. Whoever
Yes.
that guy was that they just brought out of the absolute trenches. But obviously,
Yeah.
Navakantavasi was there as well. Um, but yeah, you look at these players that they are. Imagine if they. I know he wasn't that great, but I thought he had some serious talent. At patches, Carter Gordon. So imagine if
Yeah.
you had this flary backline, which fits Carter Gordon, obviously. You had that, and you had the battle between Noah Lolosio and Carter Gordon. That would have been nice, you know. I'm excited for the Wallabies going next year, building on some depth. And I'm excited to see where they go with the Rebels being liquidated now, obviously. Those
Mm.
players going into getting those franchises obviously strong. I think that it's kind of a good thing. Obviously, you don't want people to lose their jobs and teams to go under, but it makes overall, I think it will be have a positive net effect on the rest of the Australian franchises. Brett, let's quickly switch over. Talk about a little controversial one. Um, men's sevens player of the year, men's sevens coach of the year. Let's have a little chat about it. All right. Obviously, we're just going off the cuff. So we've gone from talking awards to wallabies to awards back to awards. Where do you want to? Do you want to talk about the coach first? You want to talk about the player?
I want to talk about the player first. So I feel like there's an agenda now. There's an agenda to keep this guy relevant because every single major rugby page is posting a picture of him with a shadow being a goat, and say another year, another award for flippin' Antoine Dupont. And I don't even think Dupont thinks he's deserving of this award, but he walks in and kind of they probably told him you're winning this so we can keep you relevant because you can't tell me that a person that plays two tournaments and then an Olympics tournament comes off the bench in almost every game of the first tournament. The French end fifth on the HSBC standings at the end. And this player that plays two and a half tournaments, just because they won the Olympics, gets player of the tournament. Yes, he was man of the match in the final of the Olympics. Cool. But when Fiji won the Olympics and the HSBC series that year, Fiji's coach wasn't even nominated. So make
Yeah,
that make sense?
no, fully. I mean, even the caption on a certain page, World Rugby, France's
Hmm.
star boy, and it's like, well, this is not France's star boy. You have to say this is just rugby star boy, and it's forced down our throats. Now, let me clarify something. There is no denying that Antoine Dupont has got some serious talent. I mean, the stuff that he can do on the field is great. Kicking with both feet, the amount of steals that he can get at a breakdown. I truly believe that he's a great and talented rugby player. Brett, and you can acknowledge that as well. None of us has said he's a bad rugby player. We just don't acknowledge everything and say he's the GOAT because he doesn't play outside of Europe. He's just
Mm.
got nothing outside of Europe, right? So it's nothing knocking on him as a player or anything. It's just there's certain things that obviously withhold us from giving that credit. But when you say he's seventh player of the year and you tell me that he benched all of the games except for maybe a handful of them, right? The big games, all of them he came off the bench. And obviously there's roles when it comes to sevens, but he was a bench player, right? He wasn't the best player in any of those games really, except for the biggest one. Obviously, he helped them get over the line, but it's not like France were a shit team. Obviously, they didn't
Yeah.
get the get the trophies and stuff, but they still made knockouts. How many times? So you added to that big match temperament, got them over the line. I think it's the biggest slap in the face to all the Argentinian guys who stormed the series alongside with Ireland. And if you wanted to give it to a French player, in my opinion, you could have with Aaron Nankayang, however you pronounce it, who was also nominated, by the way. How is there not no Argentina nominated? That is
Yeah.
disgraceful to me.
Or any Fijian.
It blows my mind, right? Terry Kennedy, these guys have played 8 out of 8 tournaments. They've done it all the way, and it's not like Ireland just they fell out in the quarterfinals. Obviously, Argentina fell out in the semifinals, so it's not like they didn't perform at all in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But what is this? This is like a total sellout. It just makes no sense. Yes, he
It
made the
is a
man of the match.
total sellout.
You know
I
the
completely agree.
the comparison that I use for it is literally um, Peter Steph didn't play the whole year, right? Last year when he came back. But when he came into the World Cup, he was man of the match nearly every single game almost. He was so good, right? Well, let's
Mm.
just focus on purely the semi-final and final because that is the DuPont case. Are we going to give him World Player of the Year just because of his semi-final and final performances where he was man of the match and made about 5 million tackles?
Hmm.
Because that's how this feels.
Well, with that logic, then that's exactly how it must be because it absolutely blows my mind. And people, I don't even think a Frenchman could can defend Dupont on this one. Like
I would
everybody,
give it to a
everywhere.
Frenchman. This is not French hate.
Yeah,
We would give it to a
yeah,
Frenchman.
no, yeah, no. But I'm saying a Frenchman can't defend what's happening
Yeah.
because it's ridiculous. It kind of feels like when France got awarded the World Cup, like out of the blue. Like, sorry, what? You had it 12 years ago. How about anybody else? And yeah, it's kind of like the coach as well. I
Yeah.
think the coach was nominated. I mean, the coach was awarded this to justify the DuPont one
Yeah.
because how else would DuPont win Player of the Year, but the coach wouldn't? So they saying that winning the Sevens Olympics trumps everything else in rugby.
Gave it to the coach because he got DuPont into the team. So it was good for the
Yeah,
seventh game.
yeah,
Uh, to be fair, jokes aside, you're probably on the side of Rassie being snubbed, right?
I am. I
Now,
am.
I don't know. I think I'm more on the side of Rassie being snubbed, but I've made more peace with this one. Obviously, it's contradictory because how the hell could Fiji's coach not have won it when the previous Olympics was on, right? But this one, I'm just like, I kind of, I don't really care about it because he won the Olympics. It was the biggest thing of the year. He won it. It is what it is, right? So I'm not kicking up a massive fuss about it. Explain your point of view.
Okay, so same as it felt like the Farrell thing last year, like drop out of the quarterfinal of the biggest event. So now you telling me that the sevens Olympics also trumps the World Cup. Because if you say that the guy that won the Rugby World Cup, okay, it was Jock Nino, but not Rassie Erasmus, but you saying that a team that fell out in the quarterfinal, because they won the Six Nations, this person now wins Coach of the Year. And the same this year, like a Qatar Cup, Freedom Cup, Nelson Mandela Challenge, the what's it called, the Scottish whatever they won, the Welsh whatever they won. That's 5 trophies that Rassie won this year.
Rugby
And
championship.
only, yeah, 6, the Rugby Championship. How did I forget about that? 6 trophies that Rassie won with a 90% win rate. He used 52 players in the year, innovated the game, went from 6-2, 5-3, 7-1 split almost every game, different stuff. Innovating the game to a whole nother level. And this coach comes, ends 5th in the HSBC series, 2 tournaments. They came they won the plate or the shield, and then they won the Olympics. And that guy with a 61%, I think I read 60% or 58% win rate, he wins the player of the Coach of the Year. Just that alone, it's absolutely absurd. It's almost as if it's a participation trophy that, okay, we can't give everything to South Africa. So, yeah, it doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. Obviously, if I had to pick it, I would go Russia as well. It feels like the obvious decision, but I'm not going to kick up a fuss, as I said, because it was just this Olympics thing. Like it's kind of that thing where it's like, okay, well, it just makes sense. Fine. I get why they did it because of that. Um, let's actually round it off with Peter Steph to tackle. Gets his second one after 2019. And I brought it up yesterday in a video where I asked, like, how far is he off, or is he already in the GOAT discussion? Because he's got the team accolades, he's done it all over the world. He's still doing it, man of the match after man of the match after man of the match. He's got the personal accolades. What does he have to do more? Does he have to get a third one to say, okay, I am the best player to ever play? Because obviously it's tough with forwards and backs, so let's just keep it at forwards even. Is he the greatest forward to play this game?
In my opinion, he is. And not because, not, okay, so people will argue like Richie McCaw, and everyone knows how I feel about Richie McCaw. But Richie McCaw also gave away like 20 penalties a game. Not only does Peter Steph Du Toit barely miss a tackle, he does score the tries. He's also one of the most disciplined players in world rugby, and has been for the longest time. I've had conversations with refs where they said, like I said, who's your favorite person to ref? And everyone, like, it's almost a general consensus that they say it's Peter Steph Du Toit, because he's respectful. He listens. He asks questions instead of making statements. He's just a humble, great player. Everyone has said. So I think in terms of that, he's probably going to go down as one of the greats in the world. But because he wasn't a mischievous person that enjoyed disrupting the game, which apparently the whole world likes because they keep raving about Richie McCaw, because he's not that person, the world won't agree. And obviously, I'm coming across as very biased because I'm a South African. But if you talk to anybody in my life previously, when Peter Steph Du Toit just burst onto the scene, I could not stand him. I didn't rate him at all. So for me to say that it's quite big.
The only kind of detractor from it all is after 2019, he didn't have a great start with the Springboks, but then he kind of found his feet, right? 2019, you thought that you can't get better than this. This year was a lot better than he was in 2019, which tells you everything. But there was a patch after 2019, obviously injuries and stuff. And I think that is the big detractor probably of calling him the GOAT, because he was on and off with injuries. When he came back, obviously after injury, he struggled a bit. We even called for other players to even get a chance above him at a certain point because he was struggling a bit. But if he doesn't get another injury, right, and he still continues doing this for another 2 or 3 more years, how old is he?
33.
You reckon he probably finishes at the next World Cup? Does he make
Probably
it?
is. The thing is, he comes across as the guy that if he feels that he's not going to add value to the Springbok team in 2027, I feel like he'll call it before the World Cup.
Well, Kieran Reid played until a decent age. He reminds me of someone that plays a lot like Kieran Reid. I think Peter Steph, he can make the next World Cup the way that he
No,
plays.
I have no doubt that he can, but I feel like if he just adds that, okay, if he just says to himself, "I'm 1 second off the pace," or "I'm 2 seconds off the pace," or "I'm struggling," or whatever, I don't think he'll want to go to the World Cup because I think it's also about it's a big legacy thing for him as well. Like,
Yeah,
let's not be the person that won the previous World Cup and cost us the next one.
yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But I believe if he can put in another solid year or two, he will, in my opinion, be the undisputed greatest forward of all time. Because I'm not going to do this GOAT debate anymore because how do you compare Dan Carter to Peter Steph Du Toit, right? Because
Yeah, true.
it's a totally different game. So another year or two of this where he just stands out every single game, kind of decides the game for you literally every single time. They cannot be a debate anymore. Especially that he's won it all. Like there's nothing more that Peter Steph can possibly win. Just think about that. Unless he goes to sevens. So
How cool was it that his wife got his reward for him?
I didn't even see it. My bad.
Yeah, he wasn't there. He flew to South Africa the day before. No,
Oh
the two
yeah,
days
yeah.
before.
Yeah, him and
And his
Kwacha.
wife, yeah, his wife stayed behind and went on stage and got his award
Why did he fly back without his wife?
because she needed to get his award because they know, they know. I had a good season. I'm getting this Player of the Year award. You better be there.
Fair enough. Um, no, but where's this photos coming from him of him holding the award?
Well, obviously they probably gave him the award when his wife got back to South Africa.
Yeah, like these ones.
Also, yeah. Also, what I like about that is everybody else wore normal black suits, and the Springboks wore their Springbok blazers.
Yeah, but
That
it
just
is a
made it
nice
so.
blazer. It is a very nice blazer.
It is a nice blazer. I get that, but every single country has a blazer. Like the French have a blue one. The All Blacks have also a nice one just with the All Black logo, and none of them wore it. I mean, Antoine Dupont looked like he's going to serve me a cocktail with that amount of buttons he had on his blazer.
Couple of feet taller with the massive boots as well. Um, anyway, well, we have to call it. There's 3 minutes left of the stream. So everyone, thank you for joining us. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. This was a purely unscripted, just a little chat along. Have a good one. Bye. Ah, have a
Okay,
good
bye.
one. Thank you. Bye.